I was told I was too quiet. Now I'm yelling.
Okay, now you're
Now
modulated.
I'm screaming.
Okay.
I'm screaming now. Hello, hi, welcome to the Emo Social Club. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, golly gee. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast. I like to start off our streams with just screaming at our audience to get them involved.
It's a good attention getter.
Yeah. I'll say hi to everybody in chat. Hey, it's iCappy. Hey, Dash. Hey, Peter. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian.
And I'm Lizzie.
And that's Lizzie. And we have a guest today. And
Hi.
I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Yeah. Hi. What's up, guys? I'm Brett Crawford, social and digital media director for Metro Smart Bar and G-Man Tavern up in Chicago's North Side Wrigleyville neighborhood. Stoked to be on the podcast tonight with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Glad you were able to come on kind of short notice.
This was literally yesterday, right?
I sent it over the weekend. So basically
Yeah, you know, it
yesterday.
turns out when live music is shut.
Oh, it's
Yeah. Sorry, I'm having some connectivity issues, so I think you guys are coming in a little late on my end. So if I'm
Gotcha.
taking a long time to answer shit, that's why. I'm not just a dummy.
No worries.
It's okay.
Yeah, it turns out when a pandemic has shut down live music, I really suddenly have nothing on my calendar.
You know, that's perfect for us. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
the pandemic has been great for our podcast. I'm not going to say that.
But I'm alluding that it has been.
I'm just
Listen, we have pretty much like the first week or two this happened. Brian sent me a message in our Discord private chat, and he was like, I'm gonna buy the emosocialclub.tv domain. I'm like, what? And he's like, we need it. I'm like, sir, what are we gonna do with it? He's like, I bought it. We're good. I'm like,
Figure it out as you go, man.
pretty much.
I'm still super quiet, apparently. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Am I quiet?
No, I've turned your
I
volume
can hear
up.
you, Brett. You're
Oh,
good.
I can turn my own volume up more if you wanted to get really, really
Oh.
crazy.
It feels
Sorry.
good.
Feels good, man.
How do I sound now, everyone? Do I sound nicer? Do I sound meaner? Do I sound grittier,
Aggressive.
grippier?
Oh my god, my head.
I like grippier. Munchy, crunchy. What? Give me an adjective. How do I describe how I sound?
Warm, thick,
Warm.
What thick?
Like
Thick.
How many
leather
C's in
with
that
some
thick?
leather thickness. Yeah, I know it's just me. I can't figure out. iCappy in the chat. We used to work together at Apple way back in the day. I recognize the screen name, so he's giving me shit because he knows I can take it to a Genius Bar. Listen, Genius Bar cannot help with OBS as much as we would like it to.
No, dude, especially
You
on
know-
a Mac.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. You can just go
Miss
to
you too,
Reddit
buddy.
and they can maybe help you.
Yeah.
Like, I spend way too much time before going into like a Twitch stream just figuring out why is this not working in OBS all of a sudden.
Just the Google history on your computer is just OBS blank not working.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday I had to look up. It keeps saying that I'm streaming. I'm not streaming. And it's like, oh, you have this one button press. And I was like, why would I need to know that? When did I press that button? How did
Sounds
this
like-
button get pressed?
This sounds like a table read for a Seinfeld sketch.
Oh
My
god.
entire life has become OBS Seinfeld sketches.
Jeez.
Yeah. It says I'm streaming. I'm not streaming.
It says I'm streaming. Can't
Yeah,
believe it.
exactly.
I hope I'm loud enough
Yeah.
now. I'm going to assume I'm loud enough. This is all going to get fixed in post, so I wouldn't really worry about it. As long as you guys can stay in the chat and just like pretend that I'm saying really important things,
Yeah.
which I'm not planning to in this chat at all. I'm planning on hearing important things. So, Brett, we have you on today to speak specifically about an issue that is happening during this pandemic. I'm not going to be as good. You are so like fluent in expressing it during the before we started streaming. So I'm going to let you give the spiel because you're going to say it way better than I can.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 groundhogs actually are not chosen for Groundhog Day festivities every year. So I'm just on this podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Sad.
I wanted you to go into that. I wanted to.
I wanted to hear the Justice for Groundhogs spiel.
Hashtag Justice for Groundhogs.
It's just really sad that so many of them train and they're never going to get selected.
They train to walk out of holes.
They train to trust their shadows.
Especially the groundhogs.
Yeah. No, Lizzie asked me to come on tonight to talk about what music venues across the country are kind of facing right now amid this pandemic, and it's super unfortunate that on March 12th we had our last concert for the foreseeable future. Pretty much Pritzker announced the shelter in place order like the next week. And he had already canceled all events with more than like 500 people or 50 people. I don't remember how it started anymore because it's been so long and I'm honestly kind of tired of thinking about it.
Time is a cycle.
Yeah, it's just super depressing. But Metro and Smart Bar and G-Man were all a part of the Chicago Independent Venue League, Civil, that was kind of founded in response to the Sterling Bay operation that they were trying to build all these Live Nation music venues in like the middle of Lakeview. So we all kind of banded together already before the pandemic started to kind of fight back against like big music, big scary quotation marks. And that then began once the pandemic started and the Hideout closed outright. And then, all these other restrictions came down and the shelter in place. We all kind of started looking at each other in this group and we're like, we are fucked potentially for a very long time. And it was about that time that Moose, who I was on a panel with at an ETIX conference last year, he reached out and he was a part of this National Independent Venue Association. And they were putting together this roster of like every important music venue and like mom and pop music venue, independent places across the country. They were getting them together. And now there's over 1,300, venues in these, in this association. And what we're doing is we're lobbying, we're lobbying the government to try to like get a federal bailout for independent music. Because as of right now, like Polestar is estimating that there's already $9 billion in losses just in like ticket revenue, which means that music venue owners can't pay their mortgages, their taxes, their bills. I mean, insurance. Keeping a liquor license in the city of Chicago is like a pain in the ass already. And it's even worse to try and pay it when there's no fucking money coming in. So NIVA and Civil are both working together to try and just figure out, either in Springfield, downstate, or in Washington on a national level, like, hi, can you help culture like survive this instead of, letting everyone out to dry and see who can make it through?
Well, especially because I know that there was one music venue I know on the East Coast called Great Scott that actually had to close up. And I think that's one of the first of, unfortunately, many we're going to see because of this pandemic, unless we do get this funding.
For sure. I mean, it's really sad, and like, just kind of like being in a lot of like music industry groups on Facebook, you slowly start to see people like, there was a big first wave of people that got let go like immediately or got furloughed, like your security staff, your bar staff. And now you're seeing like even people in my position, who like are considered like a full timer, we're starting to get worried because it's like, okay, if, music isn't going to be allowed to happen with more than 50 people in the room, basically like every music venue is either going to have to do like 50-person shows and potentially lose money because what band is going to take that deal? And then, or you just close completely and furlough all your employees and hope that like people come back to work for you in a year or however long it's going to be or months. Side note, I really don't want to like say how long I think it's going to be until live music starts because I don't want anyone to like believe that I am an authority on the matter because no one fucking knows.
The
So
Emo Social Club tries to make everybody sound like an authority, so we are going to sell this as this is the exact length of time.
yeah, exactly. Perfect. Great. Oh, that's that document you wanted me to sign.
Yeah. No,
Well, how do you?
Go ahead, Lizzie.
I was about to say, how do you feel? I don't know if you've seen this, but there was a recommendation put out for when shows eventually, whenever the hell that is, come back, that people can't crowd surf or mosh. Do
Good
you
luck.
really feel like that's that's how I feel too. It's the same thing with I'm already going to be close to people. I don't feel like I feel safe either way necessarily. So why not?
Right.
If that were the case, I mean, to be 100% realistic, not being one of those douchebags who are like, I need to wear a face mask. This isn't real. It's like, realistically, having gone to so many shows and the types of shows and the types of people you meet at shows, I just don't think that's realistic.
No, 100%. I mean, you can't even. I mean, you get kids at every show coming with fake IDs, and like you got dudes at every show that want to throw elbows in the mosh pit, and like those are already social norms that you're supposed to follow, and like they don't. So like, what makes you think that anyone that's going to come to a concert is going to be like abiding by the laws of wearing a face mask?
Like I could imagine, like you always get those like handful of kids that are like, I need the crowd kill for absolutely no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Could you just imagine trying to enforce those people, like 6 people trying to crowd kill? Like, no, it just would not happen.
No, and like we get complaints at the Metro all the time about that, the barrier, that we put up, like the metal barricade.
Yeah.
Like I'm just having this mental image of like the barricade being 20 feet from the stage and everyone just standing like far away from the performers to like kill the mosh pit zone.
Everyone becomes a preemptive 30-year-old punk where they're like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm almost 30. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, must be nice. Must be nice to have a future ahead of you.
Oh,
whatever that future is, it must be nice. No one knows what it's going to look like after this, but at the very least, young people have something to look forward to. I have nothing.
You could buy property in like the worst.
Yeah,
you know what?
In the worst entire.
You know what?
Of this.
Or
that
worse.
True.
Or worse, you could become a landlord.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Like, okay, so this is one question I have about like independent venues, independent owners, like bars, venues, anywhere that like is renting from a location, right? So I don't know about Metro specifically, but if somebody if somebody's renting from an owner of the building or the property that they're in, is that like the main issue right now that like venues are facing, is that they can't afford to pay these things? Because I know there's a lot of news about the rent freezes and stuff like that, and I don't really know where all of that stuff is currently.
No, 100%. I mean, Metro is lucky enough that technically the bank owns the building, but we pay a mortgage. It's like the same way as people that buy houses. You get a loan from the bank, and you pay the bank back and all that shit. So we own, the building. But for people that do, have to rent their spaces, or they're on like Double Door, for instance, was on a lease, like a 10-year lease. Yeah, that would be a conversation that we would have had to have with the building owner. But the rent freeze stuff, I don't know. It's kind of a sketchy situation because you have so many people that are calling for the economy to reopen just because they're afraid of what will happen if it doesn't. And instead of just freezing all mortgages and rent payments like across the board nationwide and giving people like federal money to pay their other bills and to like stimulate their local economy, like instead it's just been this directive of like, well, if you get sick, sorry, like we've got to do things the way we've been doing them. And unfortunately for music venues, like we just don't get to reopen.
Yeah.
So unless there's a rent freeze, that would be, to answer your question, yes. I think that's the biggest part of all of this is there's a lot of money that goes into keeping just a fucking building open and paying the electric and paying the heat, paying for the water, and like all the smaller jobs that people sometimes don't even think about. With these buildings being closed, there's just so much less work for anyone, like maintenance people, cleaning crews, tradespeople. It all kind of trickles down to the very edges of the economy. But yeah, for us right now, we're lucky that we own the building, and the bank, it sounds like, has been pretty cool with us as far as like payments. But how long that will last, who fucking knows?
Yeah.
That's just us. That's our situation, though.
Yeah.
Were you guys able to apply for any of those small business loans at all?
We did get some, and forgive me because I don't know which one. We did get some funding, which was able to just basically help keep myself and a few other key people for Metro and Smart Bar and G-Man on staff. But you know, I'm not sure exactly when the time. God, I should know this. I'm not sure when the timeline on that expires, but I can tell you it's not going to get me, you know, personally through like September. And who knows, like I said, like when anything's going to be open, if September is even a realistic thing to say, like, oh, I can go back to the office. Like maybe we'll start selling more tickets for shows in the winter. But yeah, it's kind of scary. Just like people, you know, bands and artists who like move their shows, and then you see that like the band has just canceled tours. This hasn't really happened with us so much, but like a lot of smaller venues and stuff, there's bands that are just like, okay, we can't find places that are going to be willing to host a show for this routing. So even though the New York and the LA dates were going to be fine, now they have to cancel the whole thing and move it to like, you know, next spring, which is like a year without live music is fucking insane.
Yeah.
And it makes me very emo, which is why I'm on the Emo Social Club podcast.
Look at that. Look at that plug.
I love plugging our podcast name in the middle of the podcast.
You gotta do it, man. It's like when someone says the name of a movie in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, they said it.
It's like what you sent me the other day. You're like, what if we start doing the fourth dimension breaking one acts? And I said, I actually have to know.
That was just for me. That wasn't for anybody else except for me. I have this crazy idea that I'm conceptualizing. I filled up a couple notebook pages. It's like ideas. That'll come later. We don't have to get into that on this one.
Let's act it out. No, let's do it.
Oh no.
All right, let me throw you the script. No.
All right, great. Exterior nightclub. I'm just doing the scene notes.
Yeah, listen, I was thinking about G-Man and how I'm like, yeah, I'm actually really sad that I can't go to G-Man. Every time somebody brings up G-Man, I'm like, I want to go to G-Man.
Dude,
that makes
me
hey.
You can go to G-Man this Saturday. We're doing another a walk-up growler day. And so we're selling like these big $2 plastic growlers. And we got like 5 or 6 different types of fresh tapped beer that you can pay $20 for.
Excellent.
So you can swing by and drop some money in on the Venmo there and pick up some fresh beer. I did it last Saturday when we started doing it. I didn't realize how much I missed fresh beer.
Fair.
I'm like, I drink a lot of beer, but it's just not fresh.
It's not fresh. You know, it's not from the source.
From the source.
No, I need it straight from the teat.
The beer teat.
The teety tap.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're always coming up with new words on this podcast. The teety teep.
The teety tap.
The teety tap.
Oh my God.
Such a huge fan.
Ew.
Yeah, it's not great.
Makes me feel all marble mouthed. Like I just said another bad word, like moist.
Moist.
That's not that bad of a word.
Everybody wants me to turn everyone's mics down now. They were
Oh,
just saying moist.
no, I'm a little.
ASMR.
Hi. Today we're talking about saving independent music venues.
I'm getting chills.
And then I do. What's this shit? They're like tapping shit.
It's just like,
dude. Someone needs to do emo ASMR where they just read My Chemical Romance lyrics.
oh Jesus. I did at my college radio station because I used to do midnight to 3 a.m. because that's the main time I like to do. So it was free play, so you could be on air as long as you wanted.
Yeah.
Plus I was in charge, so I could really do whatever I wanted to do. Anyway, so my friend and he would come in sometimes and we would take like Panic at the Disco, like because it was around the time Miss Jackson came out when I was in undergrad. And we would do slam poetry of different emo stuff.
What?
On air.
No.
I think I have it recorded somewhere on my Facebook so I could pull it and we could put it on there, but it's there.
We need that in the show notes immediately.
That's the new intro. That's the new intro for this podcast.
Yeah.
That's actually going
Jesus
to be in our
Christ.
Patreon. You can only get slam poetry to different emo songs. You go to Patreon.
Great. We're starting a Patreon literally just for that now.
I'll submit a piece for the Patreon.
Yeah, see, we can get everybody. We can get locals and celebrities and everyone. Everyone gets a different one.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh my God.
Listen, this is innovation in the making.
Yeah. I think I have oh, never mind. I can't think of it. Dead story. Next.
Okay, so Brett, let's get back to Neva. So when this kind of came about, I know that at least the New York Times actually ran a piece that includes Sub T last week, talking also about Neva and trying to keep independent music going. How has that generated a lot of good or any press for you guys? Recently?
Yes, Block Club published a piece last week as well about it, and then Rolling Stone picked up the same thing as well. They're all pretty much the same kind of article, and it's like music is dying and mom and pop music venues are gonna go away, and it's all sad, but call your senators. And it's like it's been cool despite all like the sadness about it. It's been really cool to watch people like straight up stan Metro and Empty Bottle and all these beautiful old places where we've all shared so many memories, and people are finally starting to be like, oh fuck, like wait, you really might go away. Like I donated your GoFundMe because we all thought this would last like a month, and now they're like, you can't go away. And since those articles started running, like we saw a really big groundswell just around like resharing our stuff, resharing those articles. This dude Evan Art did like this he's been doing cool pieces of all of these independent music venues in Chicago where he like draws them with like futuristic astronaut aliens and stuff. I posted it on the Metro Instagram a couple days ago, but people have been donating to our GoFundMe more. This is like the second round, I would say, of like the hi, we're closed and kind of fucked for a while media cycle for music venues, because we came out really strong, and then we kind of had a bump again when Vans reached out to us to be a part of the Foot the Bill program and give us a custom shoe, and the net proceeds from that benefit our staff directly. And then we partnered with our friends at Barrel Maker Printing to do a custom t-shirt with them, and that went over like gangbusters. And then there was kind of a lull for the last 2 weeks while we were all kind of behind the scenes working on this stuff. And then Neva went and did a huge push and did this like big national announcement. And the press was reaching out to us. I know Joe Shanahan, the owner of our clubs, he's been super busy taking like phone calls and interviews, speaking with senators, speaking with local government officials. I mean, there's a district for one of our reps who has, I think it's 20 independent venues. Though I feel I don't have this written down. I think it's 20 independent venues are in one district, and it's the most of anyone else in the country. So, and that's here in Chicago. So it's like the importance of not only just like a national push, but even just like Chicago's music scene is so like, it is just so vividly illustrated right now. And like how much of a power that our city is when it comes to independent music. In addition to like, other than California, Illinois had the most submissions to the NEVA senator program, urging senators to pass legislation to bail us out. So, I mean, that's pretty fucking cool, because we definitely don't have the highest population. Like we beat out New York.
Damn.
Yeah, that's insane, especially because, New York does, as I found out through some research, they do have a lot of venues that are owned by like AEG or like Live Nation. So it kind of sets them like way apart in that.
Right. The Goliath to our David.
Yeah.
It does make me really happy that we have so many independent ones.
But yeah,
it's also concerning.
Right. I mean, we're all such stubborn assholes that no one wanted to take no one wanted to take those Live Nation AEG deals, and now they're kind of, I'm sure, sitting over there being like, "We'll wait, we'll wait."
They also have to remember that most of our, at least here in Chicago, most of our independent like venue people, I feel like they run on Malort, so that means that they will just keep going, no matter how much pain they're in.
That's
that
right.
Kind of true.
See.
It's a service industry must.
If you could compare each like major city's personality of their music venue, we're Malort. I don't know about everybody else's, but I know New York City is probably a little bit more classy than us.
I don't know. New York to me is more like just broken beer bottles on the floor kind of city.
Kind of.
Like
maybe they are a little classier now.
I don't think so.
I went there like maybe 4 years ago. Granted, it was my first time there, so I don't know if it changed that much. But I was like, okay, this is a little uppity and snooty. Why? I don't know, because it's not as good as a city as Chicago. But go off, I guess.
There's nothing people from Chicago.
I got a lot of friends that live in New York City, and
oh, sorry. Yeah, I think
it's true. No, you're right, dude. I was gonna say it's like listening to them talk about New York, and it's like, you know, my buddy, one of my friends specifically, he posts on Twitter like every 5 or 6 days. He's like, I miss New York, and then he'll reply and be like, I still live here, but it just doesn't feel the same, you know. And he just like says it over and over, and because it's true.
It's like that Death Cab for Cutie song. Like, if you feel like a tourist in the city, it's time to go.
It's true.
Always listen to Death Cab.
There you go. Whenever you're in the sad feels, go straight to Ben Gibbard's Open Arms. Did you see that meme of him the other day?
The one where it was like, even the pandemic's taking away the emo hair.
Yeah, because his emo hair was over it, and then he like didn't. There was another one, and he's got like such defined forehead wrinkles, and everyone's like, "This motherfucker Benjamin Button." Like, I was like, "Damn, dude, Ben." Side note: Ben Gibbard at Thalia Hall with Julian Baker was maybe one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, that sounds like it would have been.
I love them. I love sad bastard emo music.
Love it.
Us too.
What are your top sad bastard emo tunes or artists or bands?
I mean, if we're talking like sad, like I'm gonna finish a fifth of whiskey on my back porch, like City and Color, absolutely.
Okay, so Fridays we do like a DJ set, and I just like do like a happy hour, play whatever I want to, and usually like people just tell me requests. And our friend Dashni, who's in the chat somewhere, was like, "Oh, play a City and Color song." And I was like, I've never actually really like, I've heard some songs, but like I never really listened to them very. So I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. I like this one. Then like a minute in, I'm like, I've heard this one. I know this fucking song.
Wait a minute.
I know this song.
This
so I'm like,
familiar.
I dig it. Now I'm like, all right, now I got to get sadder and sadder and sadder and just get into City and Color.
It's great, like fall music, you know, but subsequently you can also listen to it during the spring because no one's going outside enough to really notice that there's a difference.
Yeah.
Fair.
Through my window, it all looks basically the same right now.
Right. So I'm going to answer your question with a bit of a longer answer because something about me, I don't know if I told you this when we met before, but I used to play in a live emo karaoke band in Lawrence, Kansas.
Interesting.
Called Taking Back Monday. And this is in like
very interesting.
This is in like 2000.
Parallels.
This was, I think, in 2010, 2011. So like we're all in college and half of our band worked at the Bottleneck already. And there was a Metal Monday, like standing open mic night where like metal bands would come. And the band was like, well, the house band quit, so like we're just gonna learn a couple tunes and like encourage people to bring their own shit and they can jam with us and we'll just fuck around all night. And it was like $1 PBR. So eventually we're like just learning like Taking Back Sunday and The Used and Dashboard and having fun, and people just start like wait, you guys should learn this song for next week. And slowly it just becomes this like emo night. And then instead of anyone bringing instruments to play along with us, people are just requesting for microphones on the stage and just singing the songs. And so after like years, by the time I finally moved in like 2014, it was like we were doing after shows for like Sum 41 and like Taking Back Sunday. And then like Bayside and Alkaline Trio were on tour together, and Matt Pryor from the Get Up Kids was a neighbor of our guitar player, and the Get Up Kids were friends of Alkaline Trios, and Matt just tells Matt Skiba, he's like, there's these dudes that have a residency at the Bottleneck. They play emo tunes all night. That's tonight if you guys want to go, because they were staying at his house on an off night of tour. And we get a phone call from the bar manager at the Bottleneck at like 8:30, and he's like, "Hey guys, I know that you usually don't start till like 10:30 or 11, but Bayside and Alkaline Trio and half the Get Up Kids are here just waiting for you guys to start." And there's like no one in the bar at this point. Like they're just hanging out playing pool. So we like text all of our friends and call all of our buddies, and like there's usually about 50 people that come every week, and we tell them that there's special guests, and so like 200 people up, and it's free. And eventually the bartender was talking to Matt from Trio, and he's like, "You guys should just jump up and do a couple songs. Like, I'll comp your entire tab tonight if you guys do a couple songs for these kids." And so they just come up and they play our gear, and they just do like a stripped down set, and it's like really, really wild. I mean, I still can't believe it happened. And then Bayside fucking gets up, and Matt plays Devotion and Desire with us, and he sings the whole thing. And afterwards he's like, "You guys just played that song better than my own fucking band did."
Oh my God.
So answer that question, I got in a very long way. I played so many of my favorite songs for so long that like I can't really listen to them as much anymore. So I found myself getting like I never listened to Finch when I was a kid. That's like a really good sad band that I like now that I just never knew about.
Finch is great.
I feel about that. I listened to a podcast, and I was actually editing that podcast, and they were critiquing Finch. I'm like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "My heart."
Dude, yeah. I mean, they're a great band. And then Glassjaw is a really big one for me. It's a little more aggressive, but still kind of sad in a way. And then, I don't know. I really like Pedro the Lion. He's like top 5 for me. I don't know if you've ever listened to him, but he's a little more like indie emo. Kind of rode that wave before this era of emo was like
the actual emo, the real emo.
Yeah, he kind of started as like a Midwest Oberst style, acoustic sad bastard, and then developed into like now he's just like a former Christian who plays with like lo-fi instruments, and it's still really good.
I do think I've listened to Pedro the Lion before, but
when they came out with their latest album, what was it, last year or something?
Yeah. About living in Phoenix. Yeah, it's good. That's a long answer, but I figured you guys would appreciate that, because if I tell that story to anybody else, I'm probably not gonna give a shit.
Listen, I'm a huge Trio fan, so I definitely appreciate that story. I'm like, what?
Oh, nice.
Like, what?
Dude,
we only accept Alkaline Trio love here, never hate.
Only accept.
I'll remind me once this is over. I have a stack of signed Trio posters that have been just sitting by my desk from one of their 3-night runs they did in the last. It wasn't the most recent one. It was the one before that. So it's like 2017, 2016.
The 4 albums with the
it might
or the 8
have
albums,
been
the 4 nights. Yeah, I was there every single night, and I had a great time.
Well, I'm glad that you came.
I loved it.
I wanted to go, but none of my friends outside of here really like Alkaline Trio except for me, and I was at that point where I was like, I don't think I should go to a show alone.
Oh my God. And now you're like,
oh, absolutely. I love going to shows alone.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I did go to one of those alone because when you have tickets for 4 nights.
Let's yeah, it's kind of hard to find someone who got as lucky as you.
Like,
I was just saying, when you have tickets to 4 nights, like you said, like it's hard to find someone who's just as lucky as you.
yeah. But also, like, who wants to actually spend 4 nights seeing the same band? Like, a lot of people wanted to go for, like, I know. I mean, I am me. I am that kind of person. But like, if I were not a huge Alkaline Trio fan, or like only liked a couple records and like didn't know their entire discography, and you were like, oh, they're playing all 8 records over the course of 4 nights. Oh, cool. When are they playing like these 2 records? No one knows.
No one knows.
Then
Just show up and see.
Then I don't know when I want to go. What nights do I want to go? And it's like, I can't tell you now as I bought the tickets.
My computer just shit the bed.
Ooh.
We still hear you. We just can't see you, or
Yeah,
your
just kind of
screen's not moving much. There you go. You're back
There
a little
we
bit.
go.
Cool. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Please finish your story. I was following along.
Yes. So I went like one of the nights, and I think it was like the 3rd night. So they basically played them in like reverse, like first and last, and then like in order like that. It's hard for me to come up with what that's called, and I'm not going to go through it. You can figure it out. Look back on the internet.
Chronological.
But like also chronological. So it's like
Reverse
they're going
chronological.
Yeah, but together. It's reverse and chronological at the same. Listen, the point is, Alkaline Trio threw us all for a loop, and the 4th night was when they played their 2 probably best albums, "Good Morning" and the one before that. Fucking can't remember it right now. But the point is that I had a great time on that night, the most of all. Crimson and Good Morning. Those are the 2 on that night. And then like there was another night where it's like, oh, these are their records. I'm not surprised nobody wanted to come with me on this particular night. Like everyone's like, I don't really know that one as well as the other ones. Like, yeah, I get it.
You know, you can't win them all.
Yeah.
But you can. Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, I remember when that was all happening, and I was up in Wrigleyville. I don't remember why, probably for a show or for work. And I walked past and I saw "Is This Thing Curse?" like the whole like setup that Metro had. I'm like, I want to break in and just like take a photo with that because it looks fucking cool.
So our box office manager Pete, or former box office manager Pete, he left before all this started. His partner made that all from scratch. She found like a red phone at like a thrift store, I think. Or no, it was my coworker Stacy's. It was her red phone, and then she kind of dressed everything else up in that little window display. It really sucks because that window display for like a year was a really cool art installation piece that we would have different artists like create whatever they wanted. And then I think after that Trio show, there was like 1 or 2 more, and then we couldn't find anyone to do it, so we just put posters up in the glass, and it like went back to just being like a sad fish tank. But yeah, that's a good one. That red phone with the little Alkaline Trio logo in the middle of the dial just sits on Stacy's desk on the 4th floor of the Metro.
Oh my god,
that's so cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, and do you want to know the funniest thing? You'll get a kick out of this. My coworker Anna has this tiny little dog named Sugar, and I don't even know what fucking kind of dog it is. I think it's part Chihuahua, but it's like the laziest fucking thing and just like lays in its bed all the time. But if you pick up the receiver to that old red phone and dangle it in front of the dog will like jump up and like try and eat it and like growl at it and shit. It fucking hates that phone for whatever reason.
I mean, it's
so sometimes they say that dogs can like vibe and sense like when something bad is around. Maybe it has like an evil spirit or something in it.
Are you suggesting that the Alkaline Trio phone actually is cursed?
It may be. And the dog just knows and no one else does.
It may be. There you go.
There's no such thing as curses.
When I say that, you have to put the ancient aliens like doodle doodle doodle.
Yeah. We're gonna get
curses.
Just throw an Alex Jones voice in there just because.
No, let's dogs. This band Alkaline Trio. They're cursing all of our phones. Can't make any phone calls.
5G causing coronavirus.
I keep calling people.
D-cords are spreading cancer.
These 3-chord pop punk bands can't can't. I don't know.
Damn.
I don't
Yeah,
watch
let's just
Alex
do
Jones
this.
enough.
This is the rest of the podcast is us just doing terrible Alex Jones impersonations.
Oh my god.
I mean, your
I
guys'
hate
was
it.
great. Mine was terrible.
I can't pretend like I practice.
Sir.
No, I don't. But I have watched a lot of like jokey Alex Jones videos, and so I've just like learned how he talks, what he says.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just
It's
like
hard not to.
it's like screaming from the inside, but like not screaming outside. It's like
Yeah.
my kids won't talk to me anymore because I sit here and I talk about crazy shit.
Theories.
Anyway, buy my bulletproof vest.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he's been doing it for like 30 years.
He's a
Yeah,
crazy
just getting away with it. Well, except for recently, he did have to pay out a settlement for lying about the Sandy Hook shooting.
Oh, finally. It only took
I
so
know.
long.
Finally.
Yeah. Jesus. There is justice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's also saying he wants
Took
to
him
eat
long
his
enough.
neighbors now.
All right.
He's
Well,
like,
I guess that's what
fuck,
happens.
if this gets any worse,
coronavirus.
if this gets any worse and we run out of food, if all the lines of food delivery run out, I'm looking over at my neighbors and I'm like, they could be delicious.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what? Who are you talking? Who is watching this
Who are
video?
your neighbors? Do your neighbors know about this?
Didn't you get
buffoonery?
fired from your like job? Like, don't you like who's on the other end of this microphone?
Jesus.
Your
That's
neighbors
terrifying.
might know they live next to you too. And then that goes on the news. Your neighbors are like, I don't want to move right now, but damn.
And then like the sale of their like house immediately, it just never sells because everyone's like, yo, he said he's gonna fucking
If
eat.
I move in there, I'm at a higher risk of getting eaten by Alex Jones than I am right now.
Than getting coronavirus probably at this point.
Honestly, like I don't know what the odds are, but the odds of being eaten by Alex Jones if you live next to him are like nearly 100%.
At
He
this
said it.
point, yeah.
He said it, so it's got to be true. Nothing Alex Jones has ever said has been a lie.
Oh god.
No,
Never.
not at all.
I like that we
So-
can talk about some not serious stuff too
I
in
know,
the middle
like
of all of this like seriousness.
Well, we need it,
Love it.
We
do
need to
it.
laugh.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff have you been doing, Brett, during obviously like you're staying home and trying to be as
Yeah.
safe as you can be and keep your sanity?
Yeah. What have I been doing to keep myself busy? I started a podcast myself. Actually, we started it in like February and did a few episodes, but similar to what we were talking about earlier, like audio technical issues, like someone's microphone just didn't record right, so it's just a bunch of dead air and sound fucking stupid. So finally, by the time we got it done, it was like the week before the shelter in place went into effect, and then every episode we've done subsequently has been like over the air like this. So that's fun. We started a Metro podcast last week. We're gonna have another episode out, I think, this Saturday. So that'll be good. Gonna get old Joe Shanahan on the horn and ask him some fun questions about behind the scenes stuff at Metro.
Hell yeah.
And then, I'm in my recording studio right now. I've got a lot of amps and guitars and pedals and drum machines and shit like that I just kind of spend hours dorking around on. I have done a really great job at creating lots of little ideas of songs, but a very bad job at finishing any of them. So that's going to be, I think, my next challenge. I'm afraid to do vocals for any of these songs because though I can sing, I don't like singing in this room because it's very tinny.
Mhm.
And there's like tile floor in here because it goes out back. And also my neighbors that live upstairs are children's music teachers.
Oh.
And they've been teaching from home via Zoom for the last 2 months. And if I have to hear people do vocal exercises more than I already do, you might never see me again.
Oh, okay.
So it's really, I mean, it is at all hours of the day, just like you'll hear scale runs on a piano upstairs and
God.
you're just like, fucking stop.
You're like, listen, do it whatever everyone else did, and just be a fucking punk artist, and just go start screaming. It's fine.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that at some point. But other than that, I don't know. Play some video games. Been writing. Been reading. Trying to read. I don't know. Do you guys have this problem where like you just can't stay focused on anything now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I hate it.
Oh yeah. I think like it's interesting that the entire world moved online, and we have now all kinds of things at our fingertips. We have access to talk to anybody at any time because everybody's free. Everybody's like basically sitting around waiting for something to do. Everybody is running out of things at this point. If we all thought it was going to last for a month, now we're in month 3 and it's like, fuck, what are we going to do for the next 2 months? Let's say, no experts here. We're just guessing, but it's like you're running out of things to do and you're presented with an unlimited amount of time and an unlimited amount of access and options. So it's like when I feel like when you have a limited amount of time and you have a limited amount of things that you want to get done, it's way easier to just say, oh, I'll get that done right now. You power through it, you get it done, you present it, and you're like, cool, that is out the door. Now it's like, I can't, like I've been thinking about writing music too, and I'm like, cool, because I'm going to perform it anytime soon. Like,
man, what's the point?
Like, what's the due date for this? Like, it's not like, oh man, like we were going to do an emo karaoke at the end of April. And I was like, oh, this is back in like January, February, we were setting it up. And I was like, oh, you know what? I've been working on this music. Like, wouldn't it be really cool if I had something ready to go by then and had a debut performance at this emo karaoke night. Right. And then like maybe 3 weeks later, it was like, hey, we're shutting down life. And I was like, cool, well, I guess I can work on that while I'm like at home, not doing nothing. But then it's like, well, it's not like I have that same due date now. Like I could have performed it there. I would have had that opportunity. And now it's like, if I do it, I'm still waiting to do anything with it. So there's no like rush to get it done. There's plenty of time to work on it, plenty of time to perfect it, plenty of time to present it. So therefore I can't focus and get it done.
Yeah, but at some point, like I've been trying to convince myself that that's just a cop out that I've been like telling myself, and not to like call your ass out on the pod right now, but like,
listen, that's what we bring guests on for. I'm like, please help me figure out my own shit.
Keep everyone in check.
Yeah. But I've been like, okay, if I'm not going to do this now, like I'm literally never going to do it. And I almost have to like prove to myself that like, if this really matters and it's something that I actually fucking care about, just go in there and do it. Finish a song, send it to somebody, like put it on SoundCloud and send it to 5 people, and then it's done.
Yeah, that's it.
And like, if someone gives you some constructive feedback, you can change it. And then like, that's easy. But like, I'm really trying to like focus on just like checking things off the list as completed, because I feel like that's been helping me mentally just stay a little more sane. Yeah. Like waking up instead of laying in bed for an hour on my phone, like getting up and making coffee, check. You know, like making my bed, check. Opening my computer and reading my emails, you know, check. Like they're little wins. Yeah. Because otherwise I will just lay around all day and do jack shit.
I have it's basically a scrum board next to my bed of a bunch of Post-it notes under different categories of like, these are things I want to get done around my apartment. These are things that I want to get done for like personal creativity. These are things that I want to get done for like just chores and stuff like that.
Sure.
And I did that pretty much week 1. Like I was like, I know I'm going to be stuck at home. I know I'm going to have all of this time and all of these things that I've put off because I said I didn't have time. I had time. Like, like, let me just whisper that under my breath. I had the time. But now I'm like, okay, you said you didn't have the time. You were lying to yourself and others. Now you actually have the time. Stop lying to yourself and others and put it on this wall. And I still, as of now, have completed some of them. There's still a lot of stuff on that board and I keep adding to it. And I'm like, shit, I'm still nowhere.
But hey, you know, something's better than nothing, right?
That is how I feel about it too. And it's like, it's good to have something that's visible and something physical rather than like writing stuff down, even online, even like in a notepad or a note app or something like that. Yeah. Like having something on a wall that I can walk into the room, look at and go, oh man, I really haven't done shit in 2 months.
You know, shout out. I mean, I agree with you. I try and write all my like notes and lyrics and ideas and shit down on paper, but like take it from someone who accidentally like had their phone ruined
Ooh.
last month. Like anything you want to keep that is saved like digitally, just fucking back it up. Because I lost 2.5 years worth of like notes
Ooh.
and ideas when my phone bricked. And I
Holy
took it to
shit.
Sprint and asked him to fix it. And the guy's like, yeah, I just had to do a hard reset. Here's your stuff. And I was like, what?
You're like, my things.
And then
my things.
my things. Yeah, no, so that sucks. But I agree. I like writing stuff down. It feels like I actually mean it, you know?
Yeah, it's different purposes. Like I have a lot of notes. Like for work, I have a lot of notes that are entirely digital. I don't really write anything down physically for work. I guess like for me, it's like I don't want this in my real life. I want this in my work life.
Yeah, my
Keep it
life.
separate.
Yeah. Like I have all of that on my work
Work-life
laptop.
balance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's healthy. It's healthy.
It's very much work-life balance. Like this is all my work stuff. It's on my work laptop. I close that work laptop. It is out of my day. Like my day is done. Then I have like all the creative stuff, and that is just like put it anywhere. Just put it everywhere. Surround yourself in it, because like otherwise you're not going to prioritize it, especially if you're at work all day and you're like, I don't want to do work all day. And now of course I'm in the same space doing work as I would be in the space doing creativity. And it's like, I need to like have some sort of balance there and some way of figuring out like, am I working? Am I creating? Am I being lazy? Am I being productive? Do I need to be productive? Those kinds of things, those kinds of questions.
It's like, I had insomnia for a while in, like in high school, and no one could figure out what it was. And turns out I think it was just anxiety. But one of the things that I remember talking to a doctor about was he was like, your brain literally like associates different environments with like different neurological triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't sleep and you spend all day in bed, like on your phone or on your laptop or watching TV, as soon as you try and go to bed, like if you turn the light off or turn your screen off, your body's so used to already being in your bed all day that it doesn't associate it with like sleepy time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like now I don't ever go in my bedroom until I'm like ready to go to bed. And as soon as I walk in, it's like head hits the pillow and I'm out. And that's what I've tried to associate, you know, this studio room with, is just like creativity, or, you know, I have like a yoga mat and I'll throw down and like do some stretches, do a little yoga, maybe do some jumping jacks. But like trying to associate my environment in my little apartment with like, this is the corner where I do art, and this is a corner where I do food, and this is a corner where I sleep, you know, like, but it's been helpful. And I feel like that's part of the reason I haven't like started to go absolutely insane, because I'm such an extrovert that if you would have told me January 1st, 2020, that like you're going to spend 8 or almost 9 weeks inside, not going to a show, not having a meal at a restaurant, and not going to a bar with your friends, I would have been like, you're fucking hilarious, dude. Like, how much money are they paying me to stay inside?
Yeah.
And here we are. Yeah, no.
Stay inside for $1,200, and that's it.
That's it.
Right. Which isn't, it could be worse. It could be no money involved. That would be really bad.
They're trying to get through another stimulus check round, but we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully. But no, I mean, I talked about mental health a lot. I have to say, Johnny and the guys at Hope for the Day are super cool people. I don't know if you've plugged them on this podcast already.
Yeah, they were one of our like very first interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny's awesome.
he's the fucking dude. We work with him at Metro a lot. Dave, my good buddy he co-hosts my podcast with me. He's working on a new initiative that they have called 86 The Silence. And it's all about outreach for service industry workers who right now, ironically, probably need it the most, because so many of them are out of work and, working on unemployment, staying at home all the time. So please, I will say again, if you haven't, jump over, give those guys some love, donate if you can. They're doing some really amazing things for mental health in the city.
Yeah. Very glad that Sip of Hope raised the money that they needed as well.
My God.
We were trying to plug that on here and do our best.
I was really worried when I used to intern with Hope for the Day for a little bit too. So
cool.
I was just like, oh no, please, this is like one of the better things here. And I know Obama came back on to like, re-endorse it.
Mhm.
And then Pritzker actually was like, I bought coffee from this.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
coffee. I'm like, that's sick. And then of course everyone in the comments were like, oh, you can buy coffee, but you can't let us free. It's like, sir.
People are fucking dumb, dude. Honestly, I don't want to talk about it because I'm gonna say some like really mean shit about these people, but like
They deserve it. It builds
just
character.
yeah, dude, they need to shut the fuck up.
I wish that I was confident enough to speak so confidently on things that I know so very little about. But like, I don't have that in me. I wish, like, I grew up with so much anxiety about like pretending or being hypocritical or like I don't want to say anything that I don't mean. I don't want to like speak to something that like I don't have. I wish that I could just let all of that go and just be a fucking monster. I wish like there are so many people who make it through life being absolute morons that just don't know that they're morons and they just do things. And I'm like, that sounds great, because like always constantly being stuck in the back of your head, like, hey, you might think that you know this, but you don't. And you're a big idiot too. And then there's just people out here who just get to fucking walk all over people with their guns and their machines and
their bazookas.
And I'm like, I just wish I had that within me. But also, yes, of course, no, I don't. I'm happy that I'm happy that I'm at least conscious enough to be like,
you're
hey,
reasonable and rational.
Yeah. Of course. I am obviously very happy that that is my personality. I'm glad that I am the way that I am. But at the same time, if I just had unrepentant confidence, oh God, the things I could do.
The things I could do to these people. Who knows, dude? It's scary to think about, though, right?
Yeah, but I would get done all of my Post-its on my wall.
Oh my God!
Ain't nothing stopping me.
Damn.
Think about it,
this is like the beginning of an episode of like the Twilight Zone, where like a genie comes and like you think you think it's all gonna be good, and then like everything you ask for is like a really terrible mirror version of what you ask for.
Yeah.
This is actually in season 2 of Twilight Zone right now, actually.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this all of it. We're actually in a simulation, which is Twilight Zone.
I knew it.
Did you watch that reboot that they did with Jordan Peele?
I haven't, but I heard nothing but good things about it.
The first episode was free on YouTube, I think, right? Because
I watched it, and it was really good.
Yeah.
I need to watch the rest of it.
It was very like I want to say it was kind of like Black Mirror, but without being like too.
But then
British.
like Black Mirror is just like old Twilight Zone, and then we're like in a Twilight Zone conversation about it.
I know. It's
weird.
weird.
Black Mirror is like, we're not doing another season because this is too much like Black Mirror.
Yeah, I know. We're basically in Black Mirror right now, so we don't need to make a TV show.
Insert some like crazy supernatural like wee music right here.
Yeah, exactly. Very ethereal, crazy music. What we need is a reboot of the first season of American Horror Story with that hot dad. That's what I want.
I'm not arguing that what's his name? Dylan McDermott
Dylan McDermott
or Dermot McDillon. There's like two of them or something.
I need American Horror Story to just stop being what it's been for like the last like 5 seasons. And I needed to just go back to how season 1 was and then just keep it going.
Dude, I still, when I go to my bathroom, if the curtain's closed, I'll still say like, here, picky.
Oh my God.
Like wait to see if that guy's going to shoot me.
You just brought back something that I haven't thought about in a long time and how much that freaked me out.
Ryan Murphy did say he's going to try to do like one-off, like it's going to be called American Horror Stories. So
that'd be cool.
That's much better.
He'll take like certain, I guess, characters or whatever and like explore like an hour or two of whatever like mini-sode. And I'm like, honestly, I'd rather fucking have that than any other season that you're probably going to bring back the goddamn witches for no goddamn reason to begin with, and then make complete utter nonsense out of it, aka Apocalypse.
Yeah. The witches, there's too much witches stuff right now. I mean, with Sabrina and other witch programs.
And the
not
other ones.
and the other ones. I'm not as much a fan. Have you guys watched Riverdale at all?
No. I have a friend who's like super into it, but I am not.
So I had heard about it, tangentially through like advertisements and stuff, but I'd never looked into what it was. And then my partner was watching it one night, and she comes out, and because she was watching it on her laptop, she comes out into the living room. I was like finishing up a video game or something. She's like, can we watch Riverdale? And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure tonight's the last night we can watch it on Netflix before it's gone. And I'm like, okay, well, this is like September 30th or something. And I was like, yeah, fine, whatever, we'll watch the show. We get like 2 episodes in, and I'm like, is that guy's name Archie? And they're like, yeah. And then and I was like, wait a minute, and is that Jughead? Wait the fuck a minute. And I had to Google it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just a show about Archie and Jughead and all the gang. And I was like, they turned it into
all
like
the gang.
This sexy teen drama. And like, I can't look away. So I inadvertently watched like the last half of the most recent season that was on Netflix, and like didn't hate it.
Is it a recommendation?
It's one thumb up, one thumb down. It's just so silly. Like
it's probably something you like put on in the background to like as noise, and if you catch it again, you're like, oh, that happened.
Yeah, like if you're tired of putting on the Parks and Rec or The Office, and like put this on. Give that a shot. I'm
never tired of putting on those 2 shows.
Yeah, you would think that I'd be tired of it by now, but after all these years, it's like my security blanket.
Yeah. Oh, how comfortable I am.
Yeah, like Morocco Nights.
Yeah.
On Office, just take me there.
Lizzie, I can't help but notice that you're not responding that Parks and Rec and The Office are your security blanket.
I've never watched Parks and Rec, and my sister watched The Office in full, like consecutively, but she would always play the intro. So I went through the all those seasons, because it was when we were in our old house, and my bedroom was the dining room, so I had a curtain, and my sister was in the living room that was like right there, and so I just heard it every fucking day. I was like, fuck this show. I'm done. I just know the memes, but fuck this show. Same thing with Friends, because she did the same thing. I was like, fuck this show.
Oh my god,
I hate everything. And then I just never got with Parks and Rec. I'm more of a Degrassi person.
Okay.
I mean, you can be both.
I like Drake.
I like Drake before he got shot, or after he got shot.
I don't know. It's kind of an endearing character arc.
Lizzie,
a little humble.
I need you to watch Parks and Rec, just because, like, I wish I could go back to the first time I watched Parks and Rec.
Listen, I'm still trying to finish Umbrella Academy after the first 2 episodes I watched a year ago.
See, that's a true emo. That's a true emo answer right there. You're gonna stand Gerard Way all the fucking day.
Listen, I had listened to. I mean, I read Umbrella Academy when I was in high school. Oh, nice. So when people were like, "Oh, it's a graphic novel," I'm like,
Plebes.
Okay. Parks and Rec was a graphic novel too.
I mean, I have stop. I have the Killjoys graphic novel. I thought it was closer for me to grab, but it's up there.
I see you got the Watchmen in the background.
Yeah, this is my pride and joy, pretty much. That's
nice.
Big boy. So
is that the Snyder cut?
Edition. No, it's not. It's a whole very pretty like graphic novel, like stuff that didn't make it into the graphic novel. Oh. So like old clippings and everything. Yeah, it was a gift because I wasn't paying the OG $150 for it. So
no.
Wow.
It's pretty legit.
I have a copy.
Big Watchmen fan, so
good.
I have a copy of Alan Moore's From Hell on my desk at work that I need to read when I get it. Came highly recommended from my coworker Chad, who is the fellow nerd in the office along with me.
Love it.
So yeah, I read a whole bunch of Batman comics like earlier this year. I was flying around the country a bunch for some different stuff, and I just went to the Chicago Public Library and I was like, "Where's your comic book section?" And they like pointed me. They're like over there, and there's just like some kid like, "Hey." It
might have been me.
That actually might have been me.
It could have been either one of us.
It could have been really, yeah.
I went over there and just picked up a bunch of like collected comic series, and I was like, this will be fine. And so cut to me, this like 6'2" tattooed giant sitting in the aisle seat of a plane reading like Batman on the red eye flight to Baltimore. Like, I'm so happy right now with my stories.
My stories.
Batman's going to beat up the bad guys.
He's going to get the Joker.
Did you read Killing Joke?
Yes, I read Killing Joke. I read Dark Victories. I read what's the one with the Calendar Man where he's in Arkham? It doesn't matter. I read a lot. I read like 5 different Batman ones, and then I read Sin City. And
I have you can't see it again, but I have all the collectors, the old school ones. So it makes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my
That's
friends
sick.
when I was in high school, her older brother was really into like graphic novels and comics, and she wasn't. So every time he would give her one, she'd be like, "Yeah, I read it," and just give it to me. So she gave me like the whole series except for 7, which of course was like the most expensive and hardest to find. And I found it. I was like, "Fuck it, when am I gonna find this again?" So now it's very pretty.
That's sick
on my bookshelf.
That's super cool, man. Yeah, I was super into collecting when I was a kid. I was really into like Amazing Spider-Man and stuff like that. But then I totally fell out of it. Like in high school, I joined a band, and like that was where all my money went. And then flash forward to like me working at Metro and starting to talk with my coworker Chad, who's, several years older than me, but he had like this extensive collection of like comic books and video games. And we slowly realized like we were making references that the other one understood. And then finally he invited me over to his house after work one day. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got all the, Alan Moore stuff. I've got all the everything of like The Walking Dead, those collected novels and shit like that." So I was like, okay, cool. So he just lets me borrow stuff all the time. And then he went with me to a comic store the other day, or not the other day, like months ago. And I got Saga. Have you read Saga?
I've heard of it. I know it's supposed to be like a really good one.
That's what he said. It's still, I haven't read it yet, but I think I should dive into that this week, actually.
Have you read Blankets? It's kind of like big sad emo vibes. So
no, I haven't read it.
You want to read it when you're not already big sad because you're going to make yourself even more depressed.
Yeah.
It's a thick one, like at least this thick.
Damn, boy, he thick.
He thick, yeah, he thick. And it's about this dude who like, oh my God, I love this girl. And then she leaves, and then it's like him like going through all of his like past emotions and experiences of how he got from point A to like all the way at the end of where he is now. And like the graphics in it and like the coloring and the illustration is beautiful, and it's all in like 4 different colors. So when anything changes, you kind of notice the mood shift a little bit.
That's very cool.
It is really cool. And then I just find a lot of random ones that
it's called Blankets. You said I'm gonna add
Blankets.
It to these.
Yeah, it's a big thick boy. I don't want to get up on my chair and fall.
I'm trying to find a post-it note I can write it down on.
It's Blankets, a graphic novel by Craig Thompson.
Craig T. Nelson.
This does look emo as fuck, dude. Look at this.
It is. I read it and I was like, I'm emotionally destroyed.
Shit. All right. Well,
I found this one. It was by an author that actually like had written another book that I like, but I can't remember his name, but it's called Love Sucks. And it's like this early 2000s, late 1990s, like vampire kind of like ridiculous scenario. But you can tell by the way that like the character is written, because there's like using words that aren't politically correct.
Life
so it's definitely
sucks.
dated. It's definitely dated, but I think it's like a fun, like mindless read. If you're like, I just don't want to deal with anything anymore, so let's just deal with something that's completely ridiculous, and that's what it is.
The synopsis here on Wikipedia is about a vampire who works as a night store clerk and is in love with a goth Latina woman who wants to be a vampire. That's it. That's the entire Wikipedia.
That's all you need to know, really.
It is 2 sentences on Wikipedia, and that's it.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of funny because her character kind of like low key, like never was like, "Oh, this is like a novella," and I'm like, "Oh my God." great. I love it. I just found it at a secondhand bookstore that closed by me like 5-6 years ago, and I was like, "This is great."
This is great.
Perfect. Have you guys ever been to? This conversation is kind of reminding me about like finding random stuff. Have you ever been to Odd Obsession movies on Milwaukee?
No, I heard that it did close though because of this whole.
Yeah, I know
thing.
They're closing because of the corona, but they're doing a big like garage sale or yard sale, I think, this weekend.
Ooh.
So if there's any weird, obscure movies or film stuff like that, if anyone on the pod likes any of that stuff, you should check it out. I think it's just Google search Odd Obsession, and then like you can look at their Instagram. I think that's where I found the details about it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's good to know.
So go
little
grab
plug for a local business.
Yeah, go grab some weird movies. Go grab a growler at G-Man.
Yeah,
Make a Saturday out of it.
let me tell you guys, I'm gonna plan your weekend.
Listen to Brett right now.
Yeah, and then it's like do weekends with Brett. You know.
Now for our new segment.
Weekends with Brett.
Yeah, right. That sweep, is that what you called it earlier? You called it a swift. What was the thing when you asked the famous people? Yeah,
a sweeper.
A Swiffer.
Yeah, I'll be the sweeper. What? A sweeper. You're like an old man. All right, the Benadryl is wearing on right now.
Oh man! How many did you take again? 3, 4,
17.
Jeez. So you want to have a couple days rest?
Yeah, I'm gonna see you guys on Saturday. I gotta get my rest.
Like right up, bright and early.
Yeah, exactly. I cut you off. So what were you gonna say?
Yeah, well, we've recorded for a little over an hour. We usually do a little bit extra on the stream after we record. So
okay,
I'll let us just sort of do like our, end of the thing. Like I'll let you plug wherever people can go to find out more information, how they can help, what they can do, and then we'll just sort of wrap it up from there.
Awesome.
So what should we do?
What should we do with Neva and Sybil and how to save our stages here?
Well, guys, I'm glad you asked. This is like a TV plug. Camera 2. No, please. In all seriousness, though, we've had a lot of fun here tonight, joking around, being silly and stuff. But if you visit saveourstages.com, that's going to be the landing page for you to find out everything about NEVA, the National Independent Venue Association. There's right on the homepage a super easy form that you can fill out with your name, your email address, your physical address, and a little bit about yourself. And there's pre-made messages that automatically will send now more than ever people's help in saving independent music and saving live music for the foreseeable future. And yeah, every voice counts. Every voice is heard. So please visit saveourstages.com. It's a great place for all the resources for the National Independent Venue Association. And thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun to hang out and rap with you two tonight.
Yeah,
absolutely. Of course. We appreciate you coming on and being open to it. So
for sure.
Something that matters a lot to us, I'm sure it matters a lot to our audience as well. So I'm glad that it's dark out there, but hopefully there's some light that we can bring to. I tried to make that sound really nice, and I couldn't figure it out. It's like, well, it's maybe just a little bit of light for everyone.
No, do it in the Alex Jones voice.
I was going to say, this is like a... No.
I know that it's dark. Everybody's looking out their windows, and it's just dark out there. It's darkness. But maybe if we all work together and everybody buys my silver pills, you take this, it kills the coronavirus right away. You take 2 of these, take one in the morning, one at night, drink some water, feel a lot better. And
Mercury.
I think we all can bring some light back to this. I also kind of sound like Batman from.
You kind of sounded like you kind of sounded like Beetlejuice a little there for a bit.
Honestly, I think Alex Jones took his cue from Beetlejuice. If I'm not,
hey Toots,
hey Toots,
yeah. Save for later.
Damn, yeah, it is kind of the same voice.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Beetlejuice creators like Tim Burton can sue Alex Jones for stealing his character identity?
You know what? I think you should try. I think you should
In
just
this
go for
economy?
it.
Why not?
Why not?
Who knows?
All right. Well, we'll say thank you to you here. Thank you, Brett, for coming on the show.
Yeah.
And giving
Thank you
us
again for having me.
the lowdown. It's awesome that these things exist, that people can get involved and people can help support local venues, because, as I'm sure we all agree, they're really important, and we have a lot of good memories experienced at all these local venues across Chicago, Metro being a very specific one that I can say I would be very upset to see anything happen to it. So we'll close out the pod here. And if you are watching us on Twitch, we'll stick around for a little bit, chat with you. If you're not watching us on Twitch and you're listening to this podcast every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m., you can go to emosocialclub.tv, hang out with us, chat with us, tell us if you can hear me with my microphone or not. Tell us if my hair looks good or bad. I have a mustache. Nobody brought it up, and I'm kind of glad about that. And I'd rather.
Oh no, I saw your Instagram, and I just said,
excellent.
I don't like that.
Yes,
very handsome.
Listen,
I'm quite handsome mustache.
I'm going through some stuff. So we'll see you next Wednesday on the stream. And for all that are listening to the podcast, I'm going to play the outro music. God, I wish I had it queued up. That would have been a really smart thing that I would have done.
You never learn, do you?
I never learn. And now I got to try to figure out the timing again. We're learning on the spot. From all of us here at the Emo Social Club podcast, I am Brian.
I'm Lizzie.
And we'll see you next week. And that's Brett. And goodbye.
That was amazing.
Love it.
It is every week. We've been doing it differently every week, and it is
For 2
constantly a
years.
learning process.